There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of that ship was privacy. The winds blew hard and fear dipped down, blow me, crypto boys blow. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. She'd not been but 2 years from shore when her value it began to soar. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take those bankers in tow. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. Before the boat had hit the water, bankers came but never caught her. All in sync we hid and fought them, then they began to know. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. No chain was cut, no block was freed, and the captain's mind was not on greed, but he belonged to the pirate's creed and took those bankers in tow. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. For fear days to be no more, the crypto sank, then rose once more. Coins were lost, yet we do endure, and still that system did go. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on, the chain's not cut and the block's not gone. We pirates make our regular call, we're with the captain, the crew, and all. Chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go.
What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone's having a good day, morning, night, or whatever it is by you. As usual, I'm Captain Draith, and today is the monthly updates. All right, so let's get this thing kicked off. So first thing I'm going to talk about is the new exchange listings that happened recently, between last time and now. So one of which was Gate.io, which, for those of you who don't know, is a really, really high-ranking exchange. Like, I didn't think it was as high as it was, but when you actually look on CoinGecko, look at the trust score and the volume and everything, I think it's ranked like number 2 or 3. So it's actually a really, really solid exchange to get on. So I was really happy to get on that. And not to mention KuCoin, which is a very well-known exchange. KuCoin, that was I think that's been the most difficult one to get listed on thus far. So huge, huge shout out to Kosius for getting that done. I mean, he's like I mentioned in the morning meeting, he's the most badass business developer I've ever seen, hands down. Dude gets things done. So really happy to see us on those two exchanges. Next on the list is the events that we were at recently, which is the Miami event, which is Shitcoin, and the BTC week, or BTC event, which turned out to be pretty awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The Shitcoin event was actually really great compared to the Bitcoin event one because it was a lot more personable in the sense that, you know, when I was at the booth, I can talk one-on-one with people without being overly like swamped with people. Made some really good connections there, things like that. And for some of you that's probably seen it, I've had I had a talking point, what is it? A speech that I said and talked to the crowd about privacy and stuff, which is awesome. And then at the Bitcoin event, met up with a bunch of cool people there. Raph from the Crypto Vigilante was there, which is cool to meet up with him for the first time. I had met the CEO of Cake Wallet, which is really cool. So we're talking to them now. Also met Paul from Edge Wallet, which is really cool. So we caught up a little bit, and he gave me an update on the status of things, which is they're still waiting on Zcash to finish up their stuff. Once they do and everything's done with that, then they're going to move on to us, which is awesome. And I also met the lead engineer of zk-SNARKs, which is a hardware wallet. I ended up actually buying one, and it's pretty nice. They claim to be one of the most secure hardware wallets in the world. And from using it, I can pretty much see why. So he gave me the contact information for the CEO of that company, and we've been in talks with them. So I'm not sure how possible it is for integration, just due to the limitations of the hardware itself. But if not now, then potentially in the future, eventually when we move on to things like Halo and stuff like that, which will change a lot of stuff for us. So it's something to look forward to, but probably not in the near future. Then we went to Pork Fest up in New Hampshire. So it was me, Lutz, and a bunch of the crew members that helped out. Huge shout out to the crew that was there, helping out, like set things up, break things down, and just helping running the event for us. Without them, man, like they were hugely helpful. Like we probably wouldn't be able to do it without them. So huge shout out to them. Huge shout out to Lutz for sponsoring it and stuff. It was absolutely phenomenal. We were pretty much one of the stars of the show up there just because we had our own inflatable movie theater, basically. Like we had the inflatable screen, like a massive one with a projector. We're playing Pirates of the Caribbean every night, all 5 movies. So it was pretty sick. Met some really cool people down there. I actually saw some people from the Miami event down there as well, from the crypto show and things like that. And the Monero Talk, I think it's called. And it's great to see those people again. Super nice, awesome people. And I stepped on a few toes down there. And that foot belonged to Tony Vase, which is pretty funny. Him and his people were talking about how Bitcoin is the greatest thing known to man and how it's absolutely perfect and blah blah blah. And I just kind of shut him down. And the one guy that was trying to argue against me just kind of proved my point at the same time, which is hilarious. So that video is out circulating here and there. So feel free to check that out. But yeah, that's probably an event that we'll do every year just because of how awesome it was. It was really nice being there. And also want to mention a huge shout out to Benny from Pirate. He's our event coordinator, and dude is a beast when it comes to this stuff. Everything that's set up is perfect, and his planning and execution's phenomenal. So a huge shout out to him. So there were some wallet updates as well, including the paper wallet, which now has a seed phrase, and treasure chest, which is coming soon with the fiat conversion, so you can see the dollar amount and seed phrase for that as well. I believe Forge is here if he wants to speak on that.
Yeah, the treasure chest was actually published this morning. So if anybody wants to update to 5.2.0, it is now BIP39 compatible with a 24-word seed phrase. So
No,
the seed phrase. Go ahead.
I was I was just going to ask, what happens with your existing keys and such?
The if you have an existing Treasure Chest wallet, it will not be compatible with the BIP39 update. To enable the BIP39 update, you will need to create a new wallet. You can restore a wallet from, say, the Light Wallet or the Paper Wallet seed phrase, but the key paths and derivation paths for the keys and addresses needed to be updated, which is why existing Treasure Chest wallets will not have a BIP39 seed phrase. You have to update or create a new wallet.
Gotcha. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt before.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, I was done.
Oh, okay. What else? So the paper wallet. So that just has a seed phrase now as well, right?
It's got a few things. You can recover from seed phrase. You can recover from an HD seed. So if you have an existing wallet and you run the wallet dump, you'll get a seed for an HD seed. So you can use that HD seed in the paper wallet if you want to, if you have it, and recover addresses based on that phrase and that seed and that derivation path. Or you can recover from the BIP24 or the BIP3924 word seed phrase and recover all of the addresses from that. The wallet does come with 5 diversified addresses if you want to use them to receive funds. All of those addresses would use the same key, and if you ever received funds on that address with, as long as that key is in your wallet, it'll show up. And so the wallet is compatible with all of the existing wallets and everything that was going back. So it's all retroactively compatible. The seed phrase will generate the same addresses on all of our wallets now. So there's no worry about moving funds or recovering funds. That should be a pretty easy process now with the seed phrase.
Sweet. And kicking ass with that all the wallets, man. I really greatly appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, so that should make things a lot easier for everybody in general, just to move between wallets and things like that. Or if your phone busts, you can easily just move on to the Light Wallet or just import it to your treasure chest, which is fantastic. So is awesome for compatibility reasons. All right. Next thing on the list is the code audit. Right. So for those of you who didn't see, we had actually done a light audit a while back. We couldn't obviously speak on it due to NDAs and blah blah blah. But this was done. I want to say it was completed in May, and it was started a couple months prior to, I believe, something around there. So what we are doing now in terms of the fundraiser and stuff is we're going for a full audit of everything, basically, just to satisfy everybody that's been asking about an audit and blah blah blah. Even though our code has been technically audited and things like that through Zcash, we're doing it ourselves and going through some really big name companies to do it. And not only the code itself, but also the protocol itself too. So the zk-SNARKs and everything. So, and that's going to cost probably in the range of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like this ain't cheap. This really ain't cheap. And the other thing too is that this ain't going to be done tomorrow. You know, even if we raised all the funds today, it's going to take months. And I mean months to complete all this work. This is a big, big deal. So this is why, if you want to donate to that, it's really important because, you know, everyone that's clamoring for an audit and stuff, even for those who aren't, it just verifies what we already know, and it's provable at that point that, and it puts it into, I guess, semi-layman terms in the sense of, you don't have to be a coder to understand the audit itself. You can get the gist of what the audit says and everything without knowing code, which is good for people like me. So that fundraiser obviously is going to be ongoing. And then we are starting another fundraiser for WARR. So to give you guys a status update on WARR, the contracts are done. Everything's good to go on that end. It's just the gateways need to be built, and that costs money. So the total raise needed is $16,000, which is probably, I don't know, like 5,000 ARRR, I think, at this point. No, maybe 6, something around there. So essentially, once we fundraise that, or hell, we could potentially fundraise half, get the thing started, and then fundraise the rest of it. And then once this way, get it done faster. Because basically by it'll be done in about 2 weeks, as long as we can provide the funds. So the cool thing with that is once that's done, we can publish the contracts, and it's going to be 10% of the supply of Pirate, which is 20 million WARR. And then it's going to be 1-to-1. So there's no way that there can be more WARR than ARRR, or basically you can't move the entire supply of ARRR over there. It's only 10% max. So what you're able to do at that point is once the gateways are done, it'll have its own page and everything just to convert back and forth. So once you send your ARRR over to Ethereum, which, by the way, I'm switching it from Binance Smart Chain to Ethereum. This is due to the fact that with my side project, I realized that there's barely any on-ramps for Binance Smart Chain. Like, for example, if you were to go to any exchange and buy USDT or whatever and withdraw it, it's always ERC20. It's almost never BEP20. So that's one of the things that I've learned. And in doing so, in going actually into Ethereum instead of Binance Smart Chain, it gives us a way greater chance to actually, generate volume and things like that. So, once you send over or convert your ARRR to WARR, then you can, trade or provide liquidity if you have Ethereum in your wallet as well. So what you can actually do is provide liquidity and stake it, right? And for those of you who don't know what staking is, when you stake funds, you get rewarded for staking, right? So when you stake liquidity, which means that you front both WARR and Ethereum and provide liquidity into that trading pair, and you receive liquidity tokens in exchange. This is what happens on Uniswap. When you receive those liquidity tokens, you can stake them, which means lock them into a smart contract, and then the fees that are generated from that trading pair or from it's called token transfers, whether it's buying or selling or just sending WARR around the network, that generates rewards for liquidity providers that stake as well as the project itself. So even if there's a decent amount of volume every day, that means that we finally have an income stream, which is great for the project and allows us to fundraise less from the community. Also, it allows those people, like I said, to get rewarded. So what ends up happening is there's a 1% transfer fee on token transfers. So whenever somebody, like I said, somebody buys, sells, or sends it around the network, right? So when that happens, half of that goes to the liquidity stakers, the other half goes to the project. Now, to give you an example, say you provide liquidity into the trading pair and then stake it. And then all of a sudden, there's a massive transaction that happens, that's $1 million WAR, right? Now, when that happens, 1% of that is, taken as a transfer fee, right? So that's 10,000 WAR, right? Yep, 10,000 WAR. So half of that goes to the liquidity stakers. So the liquidity stakers get rewarded with 5,000 WAR. Now, say, for example, you have enough liquidity staked that out of the total staked, 10% of that is yours. That means you just got paid 500 WAR for just staking liquidity. So it's a fantastic thing to do, especially if you're a long-term holder. You can literally just leave it staked and just generate funds. So that's an income stream right there for you. And then over time, you can just take those funds and just pull it back into Pirate Chain or pull it in as R. So you go back through the gateway, and now you got R again. So it's something that has been highly anticipated by the community in general, and even myself. I've been talking about this for quite a while, and we're 2 weeks away essentially. As long as we can raise the funds for the gateway stuff and the UI and everything like that, 2 weeks away from having it launch, which is absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait. So that's the status of war. Hey, Forge, is there going to be any updates to the mobile wallet at all?
I'm not working on it at the moment.
Okay, so I guess what I should say is there going to be any updates that you could foresee in the future, like probably like within the next couple months?
I don't think so. I'm not planning on working on it at the moment.
Okay, so that being the case, we're as far as the iOS version of that wallet, I'm not sure if you're working on it or somebody else is, because just when I heard somebody else saying that they were going to work on it. Maybe I'm confused on that, but
Satinder's working on an iOS wallet, but it's a different wallet.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It is an iOS wallet, but it's a different code base.
Gotcha. Okay. So as far as the iOS version goes, how long does that take to port from Android?
It shouldn't take that long, but I think what we should probably do is get with Satinder and figure out how we want to structure that.
Okay, gotcha.
Hey, Drake. Hey, team. How is everybody?
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You can ask me on the iOS wallet question if you have.
Yeah. So what's the best way to go about porting from the Android version to the iOS version for Skull Island?
For the Skull Island, the Forge is developer. He knows best about it. Yeah, so he's the right person to ask about it. What I did is I picked up a source code from Zcash upstream. It is all and only on shielded transactions only wallet. And I'm using that code base. It is all native code. It means for iOS, it uses Swift language, and there is also an Android version which uses Kotlin language, which means by design or by the choice of the programming languages, they are fully supported natively on the operating system APIs, which means if I keep on going on this development, it will not just stop at the wallet operations, it will help integrate many different areas of operating systems as well. So it is a good stack of programming language based wallets from Zcash upstream, which I'm utilizing in my wallets. So I also have, would you say, a fork of Android source code from upstream. And yesterday I tested it on my development environment on my laptop. And I'll be working on to make Pirate Chain compatibility to that probably today. And since for Android, we don't need a kind of test flight environment like Apple does. So as soon as I will have any update on that, I will update the community on the Android wallet fork as well. So
That might be.
we have, yeah, for
Sorry, I was going to say that might be a good. That might be a better wallet than Skull Island because of the RAM requirements that Skull Island needs, because it uses that CLI backend, which is really, really RAM intensive.
Mhm.
And I think the Zcash SDKs were better suited. So it
Yeah,
might
I guess
be
so.
it might be a good it might be better for us to move away from Skull Island to this new Android, but I think we'll need to look at that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is totally fine and good. More options are better. If Skull Island keeps going, it's better. If we have more options, that's better. Yeah,
Hmm.
the ecosystem need more options, that's for sure, and it helps.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Skull Island's based. It's heavy JavaScript.
Yeah. React.js base.
Yeah, React based and heavy JavaScript. So it does tend to have things that come up with it because of the JavaScript libraries that it uses. So if we can move to a more native code, that might be a better
True.
option.
Yeah. After, well, in the longer term, I see that Halo is going to be released on Zcash end of this year. And the upstream code base, I see that they are also upgrading their backend to support that Halo-based universal addresses. So I know there will be a huge work coming when this current work of sapling supported, what you say, wallet is done in these native programming based languages based wallets for both
Hmm.
iOS and Android. At that time, I will be in the need of what you say, somebody who can help me with the Rust base of code on the librust library for Zcash. So there,
Yeah, I get
I
that.
can, yeah. So
Hopefully
I'll
by that
need
time I'll
that
be
methodology approach.
well versed in the Halo implementation because I'm gonna have to do that in
Yeah,
the full node as well.
yeah. So there will be a lot of opportunities for collaboration and new developments on that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a fun time.
Sorry, Draith, we went a little tangent there.
Yeah. I guess you were also asking about the iOS update. I was on the mobile first. Now I jumped on the laptop to talk on this topic.
Oh, you're good, guys. What'd you say, Satinder?
I was saying I was before on the mobile. I couldn't hear properly, so I jumped on desktop to get to the conversation. What you were talking about the iOS wallet before?
Yeah. No, I'm glad you did because that was a lot of awesome information, man. I appreciate that.
No worries, man.
Um, yeah. So in terms of the iOS wallet, we're gonna eventually port that, obviously, but we also got to wait on Apple because it takes quite a while for them to review code and do all the stuff that they need to do behind the scenes. So it's going to be a while. So I know I always say that, but still, it's just a major pain from Apple and stuff once we get that ported. So
Well, the porting is not needed because the code is already there. It just needs to support the pirate chain parameters in the wallet. That's it. And Android will be
oh no, I was speaking about
executed.
Skull Island.
Oh yeah, Skull Island, sure.
Yeah. When do you expect to have a production version ready for your stuff?
For mine, production. The thing is, the existing fork that I had for iOS wallet, it did not have a backup features that I wanted to have in that. for the simple things, like you expect when you open a wallet, it'll have a PIN security on it. It didn't have it. We added that simple feature to that. It didn't had a feature of confirm PIN before you back up the wallet seeds. And as is, it was, if you touch on the backup wallet seed phrase button, it was directly showing all the 12 or 24 seed words on the screen without any security like parameters or whatever not. So those kind of things, little things, got added to the application already. Then James asked if we can have URI support within the wallet. That got added to that wallet as well. But the existing user experience, the user interface, was somewhat a blocker to the proper implementation of URI workflow, the user flow from fetching a QR code, URL, and using that to fill in the send information on the balance and everything. So that was not as appropriate as it could be. There was some glitches. So for that reason, I asked my developer and I hired a user interface and user experience designer. So it is going through full rework on the user side, the interface build side. So it has a more streamlined user interface, which is in the works. And there was also iCloud's backup, which the idea I took from Bread Wallet. It's a really nice wallet for Bitcoin. So I took that idea from there, and it is getting implemented in iOS wallet. The benefit of that will be, even in case the user loses mobile phone, or in case user somehow got their wallet deleted or whatever not, the backup is encrypted, and even in case the iCloud gets compromised, it's totally encrypted. You cannot restore it without having a password or PIN that you set up in your wallet. So those little features that I am working on, those are huge enhancements on top of the fork that I did. So because of those little things, it is taking a bit of time. And it will be a richer user experience. It will be better security and backup mechanism for the iOS platform. And these are most necessary in my opinion. And without that, I don't feel the need of software out in the open. I fear that in case anybody who is not as tech savvy as we guys are, they might lose their funds, and I don't want to see our users in that kind of situation. There'll be unnecessary support, tickets or support queries, which will be a trouble in the works development product. So I will hold until we have iClouds and our user interface is sorted out. So that is why there is a delay. So otherwise, it is usable if anybody wants to, install it through Xcode, compile, and on their devices, they can use it.
Awesome. Cool. Appreciate all the information, man.
No worries, mate.
All right. So the next thing on the list is the music competition that we have going on. So basically, as you all probably already know and have heard on the stream or in voice chat or whatever, that the Pirate Chain theme song, which was awesomely made by Low Fat Milk here, and there's a remix competition going on where you can make a very different version of it, mess around with it, all that other stuff, and we will have a vote between the public, the community, and the team itself to decide the winner, who will win $200. So just a fun event for people to participate in, and those of you who are musically inclined, a great opportunity for you to potentially win some more. So aside from that, we got the new monthly update from the Pirate Post, which those of you who read it know that it's a fantastic fantastic work that's done by Wookie, who's one of the best writers I've ever seen, and it goes through everything that happens in between those news pieces that come out. And this one featured a I forget what he calls it, the Armada member of the month, or just basically store of the month, which is Pirate Grog Rum. So you can actually buy rum with R now, which is perfectly fitting, obviously, for being pirates and all. That's something I plan on buying in the very near future. So it goes through, all the videos that have been released, the tutorials, all that other fun stuff, including the videos from the shitcoin event. So, yeah. Aside from that, think I ran through everything. Anybody have any questions, comments, anything like that? So if you have any questions, you can feel free to, and you're in voice chat in Discord, you can raise your hand, and we'll pull you in.
Cobra, you're invited to speak.
Hey, just had a question about, I don't know if about Atomic Dex and Pirate Chain. How's that going?
You can probably speak on that, Forge, more than I can.
I don't really know. I know that they're working it over on the Komodo side, and but I don't really have any information on it.
Yeah, I don't have much on that side of information either. I think the best is to ask in Komodo platform Discord, in Atomic Dex channels. Those support guys and developers can give you much better update on that, because from the last the last updates that I know, the backend side, the technical side is sorted out. It just needs an implementation in the market maker daemon side, and then having the graphical support added to this. So the best update you can all just get it from Atomic Dex team itself. I don't think that you'll be able to get a solid update from here in Pirate Chain Discord.
But we are compatible at this point, correct?
Yeah, totally
yes.
compatible. Yeah.
They are possible, and I know there has been another developer that has succeeded in doing some successful tests for another implementation elsewhere.
Oh, that was from
It was
Maro
Mulroy.
Crypto. It was software ASMR.
No, not that one.
Yeah.
That one was awesome, but no, a third one Mulroy was working on. Sounds like he's making good progress for a different project that we will be implemented into.
I'd like to more about that. Nice.
But I don't want to spoil the surprise for anybody.
Okay, nice.
Well, now I'm intrigued, man.
It's good. This is how the ecosystem works. This is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Any other questions, Cobra?
No, that was it.
Cool. Appreciate the question, man.
Hey, I forgot to tell you guys, for all of you who have been asking for fiat price in Treasure Chest, it is on the new version.
Dirty fiat.
What's the API tied back to? Is it through Trade Ogre?
No, it's CoinGecko.
Okay.
I wanted to use the same API as the Light Wallet, so people don't ask me why they're different.
No, that makes sense. So how does CoinGecko determine the price then? Do they just average it off of different exchanges or what?
That's what I would assume, but I can't say for sure.
So
Enough.
just to, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying fair enough. Sorry.
Okay. Just to answer a quick question that Retta was talking to me about with when it comes to staking and yield and things like that. Yeah, and permanent loss, I mean, as you know, happens when there's price differentiation, right? So if it freaking rockets up, 100, 200, 300%, obviously there's going to be impermanent loss. However, for example, if you look at trade order right now, it's hovering around, what is it, $2.30, something around there. So literally, there's almost zero impermanent loss because of it's constantly trading at that given price. So obviously, that's where if you're staking, you're making the most out of it. Now, I would agree with you that if price rockets upwards to the point where it's like 10 times what it is right now, then yeah, it's going to take you a hell of a lot of time to make up that difference in war for that impermanent loss. But if you're staking long term and just leave it for the rewards, then over time you'll make it back plus some. So another question from YouTube: will there be more information coming for staking R? Yes. The amazing Paul, who's been doing the tutorial videos for us, will be doing a tutorial video on how to convert your R to war and back, as well as how to stake and all that other fun stuff. Now, I saw another question earlier in the chat, and there was something along the lines of where are we getting that 10% of the total supply for war? That's not actually how it works. What it is you can think of it as like a proxy token. So they're locked in the gateway until you convert your funds over to war, if that's what you choose to do. So if you choose to go and convert to war and do all that, then what happens is the R goes into the gateway and then the war gets released. So the R is locked in the gateway, war is released to your specified wallet. And there's going to be auditing going on constantly. There's going to be a stats page where you can see how much war is circulating and how much R is locked up, just to verify that the amounts that are circulating around are still 1-to-1 and so forth.
So the address that you send your war to is going to basically be just a traditional like ERC20 Ethereum address?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, but that one, like you said, 1%, or for the liquidity stakers, 0.5%. It doesn't sound like a lot, especially when you go to those other projects that are like, 60-something% APY, blah, or 1,000% APY, and they have some really shitty tokenomics or just terrible method of doing what they're doing. And it's just I've been I'm not involved, but like I've been put money into even small amounts of money into tons of those types of projects, and they all suck. They really do. Unless you have a solid structure of tokenomics and a solid way to reward those users, especially without using a third token, because all that third token is good for at that point is just selling, unless you have a use case for that third token. In many cases, that isn't what happens, So with the method that we're using, in my opinion, is one of the best methods out there to reward users, just rewarding them with specifically the token itself, because it doesn't create additional sell pressure. It's literally the same. It's literally just the same. So if you stake long term, I guarantee that you will come out above what you put in initially. The problem is, how can you get people to move war without a yield? What do you mean move war without a yield? I mean, if you have, I mean, hell, I'm going to be staking some more for the hell of it, you know? So moving around war, I mean, for one, there's already a use case for war. You can use it specifically to break linkages between wallets. So therefore, what you can do is, you know, pick up some war. If you want to have funds on another wallet without having a direct link to it from your previous wallet, because literally it goes into the netherverse and then comes back. If you want to put it into some analogy, but basically you would pick up some war, unwrap it, rewrap it to the new address, and then now those two wallets aren't linked. So there's usability right there without anything else. And then when you add staking to everything, hold on. You want people to transfer the coins to get that 1%. So the use case is for the privacy. Yeah, I mean that was literally the initial thought process behind it, to break linkages between wallets. You know, so
Yep.
that's the use case right there. And then on top of that, it also allows people to get rewarded for staking liquidity, because like if you just provide liquidity on Uniswap, it barely rewards you anything. You know, so having that extra incentive for people to provide liquidity is needed.
And think of it as adding fungibility to everything that's ERC20.
Well, it's just basically making sure that your wallets aren't linked if you want to make sure, like, move from wallet to wallet. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Cax, is there any questions from YouTube? Any of the socials? Anybody else got some questions that you do? Raise your hands, stuff like that. People are a lot quieter in the later meetings than they are in the earlier meetings. I was fielding questions left and right. When will R be on Ledger? Ford, you want to take that one? Well,
That's a tough question. The problem with the current hardware wallets is that they typically are low power, like very, very, very low power with very minimal memory. And Sapling requires that transactions be built and signed on the same device. So I don't expect that while we are on Sapling that we will be able to get on a low power device like Ledger. From what I understand, Halo fixes this problem, where a transaction can be built and signed on different devices, which would make hardware wallet implementation significantly easier.
what about Mulroy's offline transaction signing thing he's working on?
That went live with 5.2, so that is in the full node wallet. He was working on a much more powerful hardware wallet, but I don't know where that's where the implementation of that's at. I think he was meeting with some hardware manufacturers, but it's been a little while, so I got an update on that.
Gotcha. Cool. Someone asked, when flying Lambo? Answer, when we have a flying ship. Lutz says one Edge wallet and one Polo. One Polo, I have no idea. As far as the Edge wallet, I actually mentioned this earlier, and that's whenever Zcash and Edge actually work out their stuff. They're still waiting on Zcash to do their thing, so they're still backlogged. As soon as they finish their stuff, and we'll be put in queue for priority. So,
Lutz, do you mean Opolo? The hardware wallet?
Opolo, okay.
Because that's going to fall into the same categorization as Ledger.
It's funny. It's spelled Opolo, but it's actually Apollo.
Okay.
When Exodus, whenever the I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean to Exodus. Actually, it's not even them. It's the I think it's the owner. That's the holdup, or the CEO, whatever you want to call him. It's a question from YouTube. What percentage could you be making from providing liquidity? Can you run some numbers, for example? So if for staking liquidity, essentially if there's, just using dollar amounts, for example, if there's, say, $1 million a day in trading volume, then that means that there's $50 million worth of R, being rewarded to the liquidity stakers, assuming that the price stays the same and blah blah blah. There's a lot of different factors in it, but basically, there's if the price stayed at the exact same price that it is now for an entire day with $1 million in trading volume, just in trading volume, then that means that $50,000 is rewarded to, is it 50? No, sorry, 5,000, right? I'm bad at math today. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, $5,000 is rewarded to liquidity stakers. Kingslayer asked, can smart contracts be built on our blockchain? I do not believe so. It may be able to, but I would advise against that. For the simple fact that
this was my first question to DL777 at the inception of Pirate Chain. And I asked him if it will be ever possible to have crypto conditions run on Pirate Chain because it's shielded only transactions. And answer to that was because the crypto conditions, contracts or smart contracts works only on transparent transactions. And because transparent transactions has multi-signature feature, which was not present in shielded transactions. So it is at that stage or at this moment, it is not possible to implement the same Komodo smart contract technology to sapling only or shielded only transactions blockchain. But I see many other different cryptocurrency ecosystem projects are coming up with ideas to implement making tokens or other products on top of private only transactions. So you never know, because we can pick those upgrades, those ideas, and implement on top of the Pirate Chain blockchain. And we can be still catching up with those. Or it is also possible something comes from the Komodo platform research, from the core technology updates, because there is core developer who is developing and working on different ideas of smart contract technologies on Komodo platform. Those can be also adopted to Pirate Chain. So there are potential future possibilities, but there is no assurity of this will ever happen. But I am very positive this one day will happen. that was one reason I jumped on to get some pirate as soon as they were available at the inception, because it doesn't matter if at the current stage I see there is a smart contract capability coming or having or not having, but I have a hope that it will someday will be here, and I want to be forced to use that. I want to be in that game.
And the other thing too is that even if we could, I don't think it's wise for the simple fact that we can handle about approximately like 32 transactions per second, something like that. So if we were to start to grow as a platform, or with our main intention being a currency, and everyone's using it for, smart contract stuff, all this stuff there, it'll eventually clog up the network,
I think you are talking from the current protocols or the current, what you say, perception of these smart contract platforms you have seen in other places.
Yeah.
But it is not really necessary that we follow on that same standard. It can be a different standard, and I see it as a positive. So I don't agree with your point of view. But I see it as a positive whenever that smart contract capability will be on shielded only transactions. It will be more popular than the transparent ones.
I mean, granted, Ethereum only has like 6 or 7 transactions per second. So I can see your point.
Yeah, I'm having good hopes. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you. For Electron says, but wrapping is making it a smart contract, right? Yes. Well, wrapping. I mean, so the way that actually works is that a smart contract and a token contract is created on another network, and then a gateway is built so that when the funds come in as one, they go out the other. So the R actually stays on the chain itself. So it stays to its native chain. It's just, you can think of it like a proxy token in a sense. Yeah, Lutz, I did mention that before, actually. Yeah. So essentially, for those who didn't hear, I was stepping on Tony Vase's toes about Bitcoin because he was trying to say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread and nothing else will ever beat it. We'll just keep adding more and more layers to it and blah, blah, blah. And basically, I stomped on him about privacy and the fact that, like, you can see everything that happens. Like, oh, we'll add a privacy layer. Well, that doesn't work like that. And then he started saying things like, about Monero and Pirate Chain and Zcash privacy. I'm like, Zcash isn't private. It's optional privacy. And then I challenged one of the guys on the panel to show me all of his bank account statements. He's like, no, I'll never show you the bank account, my bank statements. I'm like, well, why would you make any transactions on Bitcoin? Because then I can see everything that you're doing. And then he kind of raises his arms like, oh, well, that's because of governments and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point, bro. Yeah, it was funny. They actually did, and I called them out on Bitcoin's shit when they said because I asked them is Bitcoin decentralized? Like, oh yeah, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. Because I hate that word decentralized. The way most people use it, it's wrong. Like, oh, Bitcoin is decentralized. Well, in what way? Yeah, the network is okay, sure. Well, what about the 3 companies that own basically all the ASICs for mining? What about the only 3 or 4 people that can actually change the code? What about, and I just kind of went on, and he just kind of shooed me off stage. If Kusama parachains are successful, would you consider a community effort to get a parachain on Polkadot? Maybe. I'll wait till it's been completed successfully and proven to be solid. So.
In my opinion, if I can add to that, in my opinion, it does not matter which extra or outside ecosystem projects come up with their ways of having interoperability with any other different cryptocurrencies, including Pirate Chain or any other different cryptocurrencies. It's always not going to be necessarily a decision from either Pirate Chain project or a team. It can totally come from independent teams outside of the project or outside the ecosystem. So somebody can jump in and say in the chats, okay, I have implemented this, and this is my plan, and this is my project, and my team, what it does. It's an open ecosystem. There is no, single authority like dealing with these things. We never know. Some things can happen. So let those things happen as they go. So it's not necessary that we will be from the Pirate Chain team doing something specific. But sure, those things, if somebody is doing really good, I expect that Pirate Chain team will be at least mentioning those, if not highlighting them. So this is kind of my opinion on this topic.
All right. Any other questions, comments, anything before we close this down? Remember, if you want to speak or have questions and you want to talk, you can raise your hand and we'll put you on.
Loots, nobody can just add code to the Pirate GitHub. So they can make a pull request and we can approve their pull request, but just some random person can't go in there and make changes. They can always do a fork and make changes.
Yeah, and that's actually what happens on Bitcoin too. There's a lot of Bitcoin contributors that basically make those requests, and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I could make a fork of Bitcoin and make some code changes and do a pull request right now. It'd be whatever. So anybody can do that. Anybody can make a fork, make some changes, and do a pull request. At which point, I would see their pull request and then review their code and then make the decision whether or not to pull their code into our main repo. But anybody can make a new client and add stuff to it. I know there's other people that have access to GitHub, but anybody can make a client and make changes and do whatever they want and be compatible as long as they don't change any of the consensus code. So like they can change the version number, or they can change a whole bunch of stuff actually. Put in all kinds of new RPCs or indexes or all kinds of different things that they can do to the code, as long as they don't change the consensus code part of the code, which would be allowing T addresses. If somebody tried to allow T addresses in their version, what would happen is it wouldn't sync with the rest of the network, and it would become a fork, or like a blockchain fork of the network, and then it just wouldn't be part of Pirate anymore.
Well, it would only become a fork if there was a node running it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody made a code fork of Pirate and they were syncing the blockchain and they made some code changes to the consensus and the blockchain got to wherever their consensuses didn't match, and they were adding blocks because they were running a pool, it would be a blockchain fork, and their code, their chain would go on some different path, and they would be, some other different name, and Pirate would keep going. But as long as they didn't make consensus level changes, you can make a whole bunch of client changes and still be compatible with the Pirate network. And then everybody would get their blocks and whatnot. But maybe they want to do something different and have a whole slew of RPCs that we don't have, or change, don't want to use Qt and have a different client that runs a different front end, or do whatever. I don't know. So anybody can do that.
Make coffee.
Exactly. Somebody wants to make coffee, or somebody wants to, build a messenger, or somebody wants to do something else.
That one was for Tim, who isn't here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any more questions on socials, Cax?
Freyr's invited to speak.
Hey guys, can you
We're
hear
not
me?
money. Yep.
Hey, well, first off, thanks for everything you guys do. I appreciate it. I try to tune into the weekly meetings. Anyway, my question pertains to wallets, and I think Forge just touched on this earlier about the ledgers not having enough power to be able to transact with R. I'm not sure if it was Forge or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then you also had mentioned that same issue applies to Apollo. So then my question is, are there any cold wallets that you guys are aware of that might have the potential to be able to support R in the future?
The only one that I'm aware of is the one that Mulroy has been independently developing, but I don't think it's anywhere close to production.
Okay. Cool. That's all I want to know, because I just look forward to when that's actually going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm. I do believe it will be significantly easier once we move to Halo.
Okay. Cool. That's my only question, guys. Thank you again.
All right.
Appreciate it.
I have a question for Forge. Can I ask?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So, Forge, I have only looked little on Halo. Have you looked at Halo enough? And if you have any idea how much effort it might be to implement or getting those updates from upstream to Pirate Chain?
I don't really know yet. Based on the literature I've read so far, it looks like the internals are going to follow roughly the same structure as Sapling and Sprout did, at least in the commitment tree and nullifiers. So I expect that the functions within the internal wallet will roughly follow the same pattern. Now, given that we have made significant changes to our internals and our functions, and they don't match zk-SNARKs anymore, we will probably have to write the implementation from scratch, or at least parts of it from scratch, following the structures that we use. But I don't expect the effort to be overwhelming.
Okay, that's really nice to hear. Very good. Thank you. Another question.
Sure.
So,
Go for it.
So I know there is a Rust implementation in the works by Zcash Foundation, which is called Zebra. You have any idea on that?
I've seen it, but I don't think we have any plans to port it at this point.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I just wanted to know if you have any idea on that. And yeah, this is fine. This is kind of expected. what I've seen is they are still heavily in the works, and they are kind of at the alpha stage of that rework of the C++ based language to Rust. So
Yeah, they've been working
yeah,
on it for a few years now.
yeah.
Anything else? All righty. Well, appreciate everyone coming. Thank you so much for the questions and tuning in. And I hope you guys stay safe, healthy, and I will catch you all next month. Actually, probably next week since Lutz's meetings are weekly. See you all next time.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of that ship was privacy. The winds blew hard and fear dipped down, blow me, crypto boys blow. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. She'd not been but 2 years from shore when her value it began to soar. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take those bankers in tow. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. Before the boat had hit the water, bankers came but never caught her. All in sync we hid for them, then they began to know. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. No chain was cut, no block was freed, and the captain's mind was not on greed, but he belonged to the pirate's creed and took those bankers in tow. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. For fiat days to be no more, the crypto sank, then rose once more. Coins were lost, yet we do endure, and still that system did go. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on, the chain's not cut, and the block's not gone. We pirates make our regular call, we're with the captain, the crew, and one day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go. Soon may the pirate chain come to bring us crypto golden rum. One day when the system is done, we'll take our treasure and go.